Hello viewers, Mike here. Welcome back, and here's a quickie update number 2 on the Doall bandsaw refurb project. And for those of you that didn't see my initial videos, when we disassembled the transmission and did our initial inspection, we found that these two gears were bad, this bow gear and this pinion gear. And the rest of them looked like they would be acceptable to put back into the transmission and use as they were. I do show some signs of wear, but nothing that would cause any serious problems. So looking at the various options, we boiled it all down to 2 options, and that was for me to go ahead and purchase the equipment. And that would be a dividing head and the gear cutter and a Woodruff key cutter and so forth, and make my own. And that was viable. And second was that if I could get a reasonable price, I would just go ahead and have these 2 gears made. So I worked with several gear manufacturers and boiled it down to one gear manufacturer that was he is located about halfway between my location and Chicago, and a very helpful place. And I kind of elected to go in that direction, and we would change these from bevel gears to straight cut gears, which would be no issue. And he would make both gears, so it would be a match set, so we would know that they would work well together, and I would give him the spacing between the 2 gears. We're working off 2 drawings that were supplied to me by the engineering tech at Doall bandsaw, and they've been very helpful. So prior to sending these to the gear manufacturer, I decided I'd better take these prints and just go over the existing gears and verify the dimensions, because once these are made and I get them, because I supplied the prints, I own them, and so I did that. But in order to verify the inside diameter of this gear, I had to press it off this shaft. And when I did, something that I've never seen before happened. This gear and the shaft must have galled together, and it ruptured the gear and the shaft. And I'm telling you, it just never ends. But anyway, I'm going to try to zoom in here and give you a little bit of closer view of what this looks like. And here's the bowl gear, and if you can see my scriber, it just ruptured, and it started around the keyway, and it just exploded this one side right out of the gear. And this is humped up here about 1/8 of an inch. So we don't care about the gear. We were going to remake that anyway, but it did do damage to the shaft, and that's the problem. You can see the damage on this shaft, and that's the problem. This is, boy, this is really an expensive side here. I was hoping to save these 2 gears, and yeah, this shaft fractured when we pressed this gear off, and it fractured way back up in there, and it's all distorted. So we have to do some engineering work here, some cost engineering, cost versus value, and see how we're going to fix that. This right here is no more than a spacer. Of course, it won't come off because of the damage on this gear. I'm not sure if this gear is pressed on and this gear is pressed on. I wouldn't be surprised if this gear is probably part of the shaft. If it is, that's a really bad thing. Now it's starting to get above my reach financially as far as getting these made now. So, in fact, we're getting in the range now of what I can buy a whole transmission for, providing that transmission would fit into my old machine. So I have to evaluate all the avenues of escape on this thing, but you know, you have to approach it with humor, and you know, it's a journey, and the trick here is to kind of enjoy the work. So that's where we're at on this, and we're down, but we're not out. Okay, here's an interesting thing on this bow gear. There's 6 marks here, round marks, around the periphery of this thing that look suspiciously like ejector pin marks, as though this thing has been molded or poured into a mold, and then these pins ejected it after it had cooled. Now, I don't think that back in the 30s they had metal injection molding yet, but they must have had some process and poured this in molten, probably poured it in with this being finished on the inside, and then they probably turned the OD and cut the teeth in there, is my guess, some kind of a cost reduction. So I'm going to say that's probably why this failed. I mean, I can scratch this thing very easily. It's definitely soft. And I'm going to say when this thing started to spall and flake off, that's probably what did the damage to this spur gear down here, this pinion gear. So that's where we're at, and we'll keep you posted. I want to thank all my subscribers and all my viewers for watching, and we'll keep you posted on this. And so until next time, this is Mike signing out. So long.